Hi guys, it's Izzy and welcome back to another video. I am today filming two videos, so I don't know which one I'm putting up first, but if you're like, wow, you look exactly the same as in your last video, that's why. I do look exactly the same because it's the same day. I'm starting neurological and psychological work for both my neurological and my trauma, so I'm probably going to be pretty absent for a few weeks, and so I'm going to try and film these two videos so that then I can edit them while I'm doing that work and still give you some content. And I hope I'll be able to film my November wrap up at some point. If it's a bit late, sorry. My October wrap up is also late. I apologise. But today I'm going to be doing the anti-TBR tag. I think it was created by Nicole. I'm not very good. I'm not good with names. It's fine. But yes, that's who the tag was created by, and it's basically talking about books that you don't necessarily have an interest in, and yeah, that's what I'm going to be talking about. So I've got all the questions here and the answers, and so without rambling on any further, let's get started. First question is a popular book everyone loves that you have no interest in reading, and to be honest, a lot of the time I forget. If I don't want to read a book, like it just goes out of my brain. So I was kind of struggling to think of a answer for this question, but I decided to go with Nevernight by J. Kristoff. I have technically tried to read this. I think I got maybe like 40 pages in, maybe, and I just hated it. I know it's a really beloved series, and I know, like for some people it's like their all-time favorite series, and it just really was not for me. The writing was so painful. Like I just couldn't make myself read such dense, weirdly descriptive and overwritten writing, and although the plot sounds cool, it just isn't enough to to make me want to put myself through that. So yeah, I just have no interest in that, and it's one I'm definitely never going to pick up again, because sometimes if I DNF books I will pick them back up, but that's just not for me. The second question is a classic book or author you don't have an interest in reading, and to be honest, a lot of them. But the ones that sprang to mind is one, Thomas Hardy. When I was about 13, and I was in school, I would ask my English teacher for like extra reading material because I was a nerd and always reading, and so I would ask her to give me books that I should read. And one time she gave me Tess of the D'Urbervilles, and I don't know if you've tried to read Tess of the D'Urbervilles by Thomas Hardy at age 13, but I would not recommend it. It was so depressing and so long and so hard to get through, and it honestly made me like hate classics, and like I didn't read classics for like years because I was so like I hated Tess of the D'Urbervilles so much. Like I finished it and I still wasn't even sure what the plot was. It was just depressing and hard to understand. And I also am not a fan of Dickens. I know that's like sacrilegious, but it just doesn't vibe with me. I recently read A Christmas Carol. Recently I read it at Christmas of 2019, and it really just did nothing for me. I thought I liked it, but then rereading it, it just didn't. I just didn't. I just don't get any emotion out of his writing. So yeah, he's just not for me. I will stick with like Ellen Montgomery and Louise May Alcott. Like those are my girls. Um, so yeah, I won't ever be picking up their books again, probably. The next question is an author whose books you have no interest in reading, or a problematic author whose books you have no interest in reading. And I kind of combined those two questions into three answers. One, Rainbow Rowell. I don't particularly enjoy her books anyway. I did like Fangirl, but I didn't really care for Carry On, which again I know a very popular book, and I doubt I'll be reading Wayward Son because I literally don't remember anything that happened in Carry On. I have no interest in her adult books, and I hated Eleanor and Park, and so I don't like her books anyway, but also she is problematic, and she did like a really bad representation in Eleanor and Park of Korean representation, and she like kind of fetishized Korean people. It was really weird. If I can find like an article or a video on it, I will link it down below if you haven't heard about her not so great writing. Then second, Stephen King. One, I hate horror. Two, I know a lot of his horror contain triggering elements for me. And three, he's just not a good person. Again, if I can find like a link to all the stuff he's done, then I'll leave it down below. But basically, one, he still supports J.K. Rowling, who I didn't even include in this question because she is like dead to me. But yeah, he still supports her. He's been like racist, homophobic, all of the things. Yay. So yeah, I will, even if I did get into horror, I would never pick up one of his books. And also Orson Scott Card, who wrote Ender's Game, I think, which is a book I actually really wanted to read. But he is pretty extremely homophobic. And again, if I can find an article, I'll leave it down below. But yeah, he's just not a great guy at all. So I won't be picking up his books, even though they did sound really interesting to me. Next question is an author you have read a couple of books from and have decided their books are not for you. I have quite a few answers for this. The first one being Anna Marie McLemore. I've actually only read books which was Blanca y Roja, and it definitely wasn't bad, but I just don't like their style of writing. Anna Marie McLemore writes in quite a whimsical and fabulistic style that's more magical realism and just that kind of whimsical thing, and that's just not my preferred style of writing. I rarely like any books written in that style, so although their books have cool representation and sound really great, they're just not a style for me. And I also believe Anna Marie McLemore identifies as non-binary, so please use they them pronouns for them. Another one is Sarah J Maas. If you've been on my channel, you'll know I hate her books. I hate Court of Thorns and Roses. A Court of Mist and Fury is literally my like second worst book of all time. I hate it so much, and I didn't really care for Throne of Glass. Like, it was fine, but it was nothing special. And I know she brought out that new adult book, like House of, I don't even know what it's called, Crescent something. I don't know what it's called, but I have no interest in reading it. And I really doubt I'll ever pick up another one of her books unless it's like got the coolest synopsis ever. Another one, Gail Foreman. Again, I just haven't liked any of her books. Like, some of them have been okay, but I haven't given any of them above 3-star, and usually they're like 1 or 2-star. So she's not for me. And finally, John Green. Turtles All the Way Down is one of my all-time favourite books because it gives great anxiety representation and OCD representation, but An Abundance of Catherines, Will Grayson, Looking for Alaska, basically all of his books pre The Fault in Our Stars I despise. So although I kind of like The Fault in Our Stars and I really love Turtles All the Way Down, I know that his general style is not for me, and the reason I like those two books is because they're about sick teenagers and teenagers with mental health issues, which I have both of, and so I just connected on an emotional level. But his writing just doesn't vibe with me, so it would have to be a pretty good synopsis for me to actively pick it up. The next question is a genre you have no interest in or a genre you tried to get into and couldn't. For me, that's horror. I'm a crybaby and I'm terrified of like everything, and I get really creeped out so easily. And second of all, I have PTSD, and I have a lot of triggers that are included in horror books, so they are just pretty off limits to me. I have to very carefully check the trigger warnings and the description and ask around about what content is involved. I do plan on reading Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth because that sounds really cool, and I don't believe it has any of my triggers. So it's not one I'll never touch, but it's one I have to be pretty careful with. The next question is a book you've bought but will never read. This can be a book you've unhauled or returned to the library unread. So many. I have unhauled so many books in my life, and I've also returned so many books to the library. But the only one that like sprung to mind was Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, because I did buy that. I think I read like 100 pages, and I read it when I was like, I want to say like 17. I'm 21 now. Maybe it was when I was like 18. No, I think I was 17. And I hated it then, and my standards were low at 17. So that says something. The next question is a series you have no interest in reading or a series you have started and have DNF'd. I have a surprising number of these, considering I'm a person who really likes to finish series. I really try and finish series even if I'm not super keen on the books. So they have to be pretty not great for me to DNF them completely. But the first one that sprung to mind was Shatter Me. I read Shatter Me. Whatever the second one is, Ignite Me? No, that's the third one. Doesn't matter. And I bought the first book, but the second two I got from the library, thankfully. But if you've seen my videos again, you'll just know I literally despise Ignite Me. I got so angry, I literally threw it across the room when I was reading it. Like no word of a lie. I was just so mad because the characters do a complete 180. Like I don't understand the character choice, the plot choice. I just hated everything about it. So I will never be reading that again. Although I did see that audiobooks had come into my library, and I was like, maybe I should try again. But then I'm like, Izzy, no, read books you actually want to read. So if I end up reading the Shatter Me series, please yell at me. The second one is The Dark Artificers by Cassandra Clare. I bought and read the first book, Lady Midnight. Didn't care for it, gave it 2 stars. Was hopeful that the second book would improve, which is Lord of Shadows, but I genuinely could not put so many hours of my life into a book. Like, the book's like over 700 pages, and I read 50%. So, like, a normal length book, like 350 pages. And I was like, I have already wasted so much time. It's just a no from me. So I gave up on it because literally, at the halfway point, the only reason I was reading it was for Kit and Ty, 2 of the characters, and they did not have enough page time. So I was mad. So if there's a version of the Dark Artificers that just are Kit and Ty scenes, send it my way because that's what I want from my life. So yeah, I just hated it. And the final one is Forest of Souls by Laurie M. Lee. I think that's her name. Amber's gonna kill me for this because she loves Forest of Souls. I'm sorry, Amber, I love you. But I just really didn't care for the first book. It was pretty slow. I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't bad, but I just have no interest in picking up the second book. It could be due to the mood I was in at the time, and maybe I didn't give it like a fair chance, but it just didn't grab my attention in any way, and I just don't have any interest in picking up the second one, so I highly doubt I will. That's one I might The other two I definitely won't. That's one I might pick up, but I highly doubt it. And the last question was a new release you have no interest in reading. But honestly, if I have no interest in reading a book, I forget it exists. Like, I don't know what Sarah J. Maas is writing. I don't know what, like, I just don't keep up with stuff I don't care about. So I honestly, I don't know. Probably something like by Holly Blackwell, Cassandra Clare, or Sarah J. Maas that I just don't care about. And there are just a ton of books that I'm so excited for that stay in my brain, or like I made videos about it. You can check out my video that I did for like my most anticipated releases for the rest of 2020, so you can see if there's any releases in November or December that you're interested in if you want to. But yeah, I just couldn't think of a single one because my want to read on Goodreads is full of books I want to read, so I just couldn't find one I didn't want to read. So yeah, those are all the questions. I hope you enjoyed this video. I haven't done a tag in ages and I really just wanted to, mix it up, do something a little different, and I hope this was entertaining and it's shorter. So you're welcome, I guess. Please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, especially as I'm going through a very difficult time and I'm putting a lot of effort into keeping up with my content because I love interacting with you. So please leave a comment, follow me on Twitter and Goodreads. And yeah, I hope you are all well and I hope you are staying safe. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you in my next video, in which I may be wearing the same outfit, unless this video goes up second. Who knows? What fun. Okay, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.